think a lot of English literature students find paper 1 the hardest out of all the exam papers that they have to take, just because you have to come up with a cohesive argument and a thesis and a whole body paragraphs just in a limited time period. So for SL students, it would be 1 hour and 30 minutes, and for HL students, it would be 2 hours. I'll quickly go through some crucial steps that has to be taken in the paper 1 exam using a recent past paper question, using this poem Call by Darker. So before we start the analysis, please stop the video for a moment and take a look at the poem. So when you start writing the essay, it is important to first plan the introduction, as it will contain the thesis statement which governs the whole of your essay. One thing that I've realized to move from a level 6 essay to a level 7 essay is to find a common thread in the essay. And this can be achieved by keeping your thesis statement constant and remember to always bring it back after the analysis point has been made in a body paragraph. So starting with the analysis of the poem itself, I think that it is important to first consider different themes that can feed into a major theme. So if you look at the right side of the screen, you can see that there are 6 themes that I found from this poem. So first it would be identity, then nostalgia, communication, moroseness, anxiety, and isolation. However, here it is important to find out that identity is the major theme of this poem. This can be found within the poem in the different places. So for example, in line 11 and 12, you can see that even the bird song has a different accent, hustling the day along. And in line 30, you can see fields shifted further and closer with the drift of light and shade, and the seasons made different clothes for me. So here the phrase different accent and made different clothes for me are a signal that hints at you to identify that identity is the biggest or major theme of this whole poem, and the others all feed into them. You might think that nostalgia could be a major theme. However, this is a wrong pathway to go to, because the poem lacks any moments where the speaker directly brings back the memory of the past or memories of the past location back. So starting with the analysis of the poem, I would proceed this analysis with a chronological manner, just because this poem is in a linear progression of the speaker's inner mind. And if I take a thematic approach, I would have to segment the poem into different areas of themes, which would destroy that linear progression. Starting from the first stanza, we could already see that the speaker is struggling with a new environment and a new people. There's an aggressive action of the verb throwing, coupled with the noun floodlights. So this is a way of portraying the voices as an aggressive act of the new people. So the verb throwing is a physical action of throwing an object, and the floodlights is a bright, vibrant light that floods into our view. In this context, these all feed into evincing a mood or atmosphere of portraying the speaker as in a vulnerable and helpless and defenseless state. I've linked these 2 lines together just because it is crucial here to link them together and bring it back to the thesis statement. So here in this line it says, after all the clatter and the shouting, I stand alone in the small space made by the candle that is your voice trying to open a window back to home. So here we can directly contrast the word floodlights and candle. Here the candle is used as a metaphor for the voice of the loved one that the speaker is calling to. And this can be contrasted and juxtaposed because candle emits a very subtle dim light that directly contrasts with the bright and almost overwhelming light emitted from the floodlights, And also, there's also this phrase called clatter and the shouting, which is contrasted with the small space, because clatter and the shouting creates a auditory imagery of the chaos and confusion that comes from all the shouting of the voices and the clattering. However, this word small space connotes a silence, tranquility, and calmness in a small area that the speaker feels protected from. And this direct contrast allows the speaker to once again contrast the confusion that comes from the new environment and the new people with the calmness and tranquility from the phone call with his or her loved one. Here we could see that there is a mixture of both chaos and tranquility, and this coexistence is what you have to pick out of this analysis, and to mention how that directly links in with the theme of identity, because this is a step in the whole poem where the speaker is trying to find his identity in this new environment, and how he is in a constant struggle of trying to find this identity. So the analysis will end here for this demo video, and if you want a further request for lessons, please set up a lesson on the website. Thank you.